Good morning, traders. TG Watkins here. It is July 3rd, Friday, when I'm recording this. I know it is a holiday for us. The market is closed, but I wanted to make sure I got this video out for everybody so they can check it out before they get busy with the weekend. Also, I just wanted to let you guys know that we were still running our sale, simplertrading.com/sale. This is our 4th of July sale. You've got just a few more days left to get this. And you know what? Hey, before all the festivities begin, maybe you guys should look into this and see if you need to re-up on any memberships and get any good deals like that out there. My Moxie Indicator Mastery, my trading room, is up for sale. So we got this for the quarterly. We also have the annual. And remember, if you get these, you get the 0 DTE SPX breakout class that I taught. This is how you can use the Moxie Indicator for day trading. And I show you guys how I look at charts using 0 DT in a way that most people don't talk about as far as options with this. It's a purely visual way, which is great. You don't actually have to use the grid, the 0 DT options grid, which for me was revolutionary for how this worked for me. Anyway, you can also check out a couple of others from my coworkers. You can do the small lot trading alerts, and you can also do trendy trading over there with John and Melissa. All right, let's dive into this. So today I'm going to be doing this video a little bit differently. Okay, we got the sale. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and this is for educational purposes only. But yeah, what I'm going to be doing is actually, I'll give you a little peek here. I'm going to be showing you guys kind of the yes, no, maybe situation with what I kind of am seeing out there. So we're going to go through this real quickly. But given that it is the 4th of July weekend, I figured you guys might like to see some of maybe what I'm going to be up to this weekend. This was a picture from last week, but we're going to be, rinsing and repeating. This is my wife, Jackie. We're on our boat, and we're going to be doing some wake surfing tomorrow. Actually, it's going to be Saturday. We're going to be getting out there, having a good time. I think the weather, hopefully, is going to clean up a little bit. It's a little bit cloudy right now. And then we got our dog, Ellie. She's a real boat dog out there, so she's having a great time. She'll be with us as well. And then if you guys want to see, this is, let's get one of these. There we go. This is where the kind of wake surfing that we do. So the Mastercraft that we have puts out a monster wake. It's pretty impressive. And out there doing a nice little board slide. Now I am in the Pacific Northwest, so it's kind of chilly out there. At least the water stays pretty cold, so we do use wetsuits just to make life a little bit more comfortable. But yeah, that is what our weekend is going to be looking like. I hope you guys are having as much fun also getting out there. It is summertime, and be with the friends, family, fireworks. Hopefully you guys keep all those fingers and toes intact as well with all the celebrations. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at, and this mostly stems from over here where the Meta news and the NVIDIA news came out. The Meta situation where they were talking about how they're going to get in kind of to the cloud business for AI compute, and they are going to sell excess compute. That was kind of the first thing that got the market a little bit shaky. They're like, excess compute, huh? I thought we were all needing as much compute as we could possibly get. And then the other news was about NVIDIA coming out and saying this: NVIDIA is promising to financially backstop young cloud providers that rent out its graphics processing units in exchange for a share of their revenue. Sounds great. It's going to maybe kind of keep the ecosystem going. Some people are kind of talking that this is maybe going to be like the circular financing that we heard about several months ago. But okay, maybe this is good. But then you go a little bit further. It says the backstop would come in the form of promising to rent back unused GPUs if the companies can't find AI developers to rent them. Now that kind of sounds a little bit ominous. It's like, well, what are they planning for? What do they see coming down the road that maybe we need to be a little bit concerned about, that some of these neo clouds like CoreWeave and NBIS can't find AI developers to rent them? This is also why Oracle is having a real hard time. Their stock is just getting absolutely trounced. So this is kind of the thing that is spooking the investors. And this is why if we come over here and we kind of look at my no maybe chart, this is the concern. Now, we had a pretty rough week for the semiconductors, specifically Wednesday, Thursday of this week. I'm sure you guys saw that. But it's more than just the semiconductors. As part of the semiconductors, you have the memory stocks. Think SanDisk and WDC and Micron. Those also got rolled over. Now, part of the problem, I'm going to go through some larger time frame charts just to kind of show you guys the context of what I see going on here. But I think that this is obviously spooking the market a little bit. But I think on the other hand, of course, the news isn't helping this. But I think on the other hand that this grouping has been so strong and so high that traders, investors, large institutions are looking at this, and the numbers just don't pan out, at least for the charts. You think about the risk to reward, these things are in outer space. They are so high and so extended that even from a technician's point of view, they're like, I don't really want to buy up here. I don't want to be the last one holding the bag up here on stock. Like, these things could go higher in the future, sure. But I think what's happening right now, and again, the news isn't helping it, but I think what's happening right now is from a technical perspective, they're just too extended. And I think that the group as a whole needs to take a little bit of a breather. We've seen this many, many times before. You know, how many levels did NVIDIA take and breathers and go sideways for months before it continued to go higher? And I think we're just kind of in that situation again. So I'm definitely not saying that the trade is over, but I am saying that the news is not helping, along with the technicals being probably overbought on higher time frame charts. And I'll show you guys some of that. Along with it, and I had to kind of figure this one out too, because everybody's saying we need as much power as we possibly can get. And that is true. We definitely need it. We have a shortage and we're creating as much as we can possibly get our hands on. But this is kind of going with the group, and they're thinking, well, if we maybe have a glut and maybe some things are changing, maybe we don't need as much power, or who knows, maybe the market's just getting ahead of itself. But we saw a lot of the AI power generation stocks also start to falter this week in conjunction with the whole AI semi trade. We also see data centers, you know, APLD, come down a bit on news like this. And then the neo clouds also got hit, ironically, probably because of that NVIDIA news that came out there. So that's kind of what I'm seeing. Now, on the other hand, what about where is money flowing? Because again, I don't necessarily think that this market is done and toast and bear market or anything else like that. I do think there is a huge rotation going on. You got to think about traders and investors that are, you know, selling their profits from Micron and SanDisk and AMD, these stocks that are so high. It's time to take profits from them. And I think that's what's kind of happening here. So where is that money going? Because it's not leaving the market, it's just moving around the market. And I'm going to put this all under maybe, because these are in kind of two different camps. I'm looking at space stocks, the mags, and software as maybes because they're actually so low. I think that there could be a rotation into them as a buy the dip or a reversal type stuff. They're so low that they're actually looking interesting. And then over here on biotech, healthcare, airlines, financials, housing, I say these are maybes because they've actually been doing great. But the problem is they might actually be a little extended right now. You look at biotech with LabU or IBB, man, what a huge move. But you don't really want to go buy that right now. So we should have a pullback. You look at the airlines. I've been talking about the airlines for over a month at this point. It's been a huge move. It's been great. We've been taking profits on it. Don't really want to jump into them right now. Financials are actually looking pretty good. You look at something like Dave doing great. You look at XLF doing great, but Dave's a little extended. But then there are other things like Upstart and SoFi. And those look like they're actually coming up from the lows and they could be doing well. So those are kind of mixed, but overall my financials are doing well. You know, the chart of XLF is doing well. Housing also doing well. I'm kind of watching Open Door, casually kind of watching that one. Airbnb has started to catch some strength, and mostly I'm watching Nail and XHB from the housing standpoint, because I don't think interest rates are going up. I do think eventually they will come down, and I think housing is starting to catch on to that, and so we're noticing that they're moving. And we've been taking profits with that too, and I'm looking for the next pullback opportunity on that as well. So let me kind of take this, and I'll show you some of the charts of what I'm seeing. And then this all kind of goes along with the whole rotation and dispersion thing. You know, money kind of flowing out of one sector and going into other sectors. And what I want to show you here, I'll just run through a couple charts real quick. We can kind of go here. I'll show you this one. I just Googled, I said, hey, top 10 semiconductor stocks. And we'll just run through a few of these so you can kind of see what's happening in through here. And to give you a little bit of context, this is the monthly chart, this is the weekly chart, and this is the daily chart. And so this should help put things a little bit perspective. This is why I'm doing a larger time frame chart so you guys can see what's going on. So we're looking at NVIDIA. NVIDIA, like I said, on its way up, this is a monthly chart. Look how many multi-month take a break. Multi-month take a break with a whole huge pullback. Of course, we know that was kind of news driven with geopolitics. Here was another area where it just went sideways for a long time, and here we are kind of again resting sideways. So this is why I'm saying I'm not saying that the trade is over, but some of these things definitely need to take a rest. How about TSM? And we look at this. Obviously a huge move, but you got to remember there were levels in between where price actually went sideways for a bit, and we might be at that area. I mean, even if we just look at the weekly chart, how common is it for price to at least pull back to the weekly 21? And here's TSM and here's the 21. And what if something like TSM does pull back to the weekly 21? That just means that for right now, the semiconductor trade is going to be a little bit under pressure, as it might need to come back down to support at this moment. How about Avgo? And we look at something like this. And you can see Avgo, had really great moves. I think that was earnings. And then, they said, okay, great, buy the rumor, sell the news. And here it is coming right back down to possible support because, well, it got a little overbought and probably needed to rest. AMD, here's another one that I'm a little bit concerned about. This thing has been wild, absolutely wild as far as a move. And that's great. But we shouldn't expect these things to just keep going straight up, straight up, straight up all the time. I think it is perfectly reasonable and healthy to expect that these things are probably going to pull back or rest at some point. And if you look at the weekly chart, we're just in outer space. We have been pulling away from the weekly 8 EMA for quite some time, and we're still floating off of it. What if AMD needs to pull back to the weekly 21? And of course, now the weekly 20 is going to move. So what if it even pulls back to here, like 425? You can see in the past that pullbacks are very reasonable and help to kind of reset the stock. But doing that is going to be relatively uncomfortable if you are continuing to buy here and this pulls back to here. And it's going to take a few weeks. I mean, this is a weekly chart. It could take a few weeks, it could take a few months for these things to rest. So again, at this point, I can't say that the market is toast or anything. I just think some of these things are getting too high and they probably need to come down and at least rest, refresh, test some support. And we have already been seeing some of these things do that. You can see here's ARM, had a big move up. This thing's really only back to the weekly 8. What if it wants to come back to the weekly 21, which again would be perfectly normal and healthy for a lot of these things to do that? Or TXN, see how this thing's already kind of coming back. Maybe it goes sideways for a while, maybe it comes down a little bit. That's kind of the unknown. But for right now, you could even see that TXN is kind of hanging sideways. And as far as if you guys are, this is a big picture. Remember, I'm talking about a monthly, weekly, daily charts here. If you guys are kind of shorter term traders, fast option traders, swing traders like what we do, there is a good chance that the big drawdown, the big move that we saw this week could actually end up being a nice bounce. And I think this is also because of the pairs trade that we've also been talking about between software and semis. So if we look at something like SMH, it had a really big pullback this week. Basically, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, since it was a shortened week. That was pretty harsh, right down and through there. Even Thursday, it was like, wow, okay, something's really going on. And I'm not saying that you need to start shorting this and that this is the end. I think that there are moves. I think it's going to get volatile. And you know what? Here is SMH coming right into the daily 50. And if you look left here, where are we at? Look at this line. Here's a level, here's a level, and here's a level. There's a good chance that the big move to the downside that we saw this week could actually end up being a dip buy opportunity next week. But I'm concerned that it is just a trade. It's just a bounce, because right now I think we have broken trend. I look at these things and I think we've broken trend. And so while I think that there could be a bounce next week, I am concerned that that bounce could actually come up into resistance. And then we could actually continue our way down a little bit as these things need to rest. So please understand the context of what I'm trying to say here. And depending on what kind of trader you are, there are different opportunities for you. And then if we go look at the IGV on a larger time frame in through here, I'm actually looking at IGV two things. One, I think bigger picture, this might actually be setting up for a long trade. I think that is partly because it got demolished. Everyone was selling software and the SaaS apocalypse and everything else like that. But slowly, people are starting to realize that software is actually very, very important and crucial to the whole AI trade. Jensen has come out, the ServiceNow CEO has come out, Palantir has come out and said, we absolutely need software for AI. So I think people are starting to realize oh, I guess it's not going to just go away. It's actually pretty crucial to the whole infrastructure. And so that is where we got this rally. And now we're kind of seeing a pullback because that was a huge move, just has to digest it. And basically the bullish move that we saw this week, remember, pairs trade, semiconductors down, software up. And right now, I think we could be seeing some extensions. I think software is probably oversold for the moment. And I think semiconductors are oversold for the moment. And I think software is overbought for the moment. So yeah, next week, maybe we actually see software pull back a little bit and maybe we see semiconductors bounce a little bit. But after that, I think we should stick to the overall trend of what I'm seeing. And I think that trend might be that the semiconductors need to take a little bit of a break, a little bit of a breather, and maybe we actually start seeing software come up in exchange for that. Because again, money is rotating around the market and having to find a home. All right, guys. Well, I wanted to keep that one nice and tight because we are going into the 4th of July weekend. I want to make sure you guys have plenty of time to hang out with the family and light up that barbecue and play with the fireworks, get on the boat and do whatever you do. I know some of you guys probably run ATVs and those four-wheelers, and it's just going to be a great time. So have a great time. Enjoy yourselves, and make sure you check out the sale so that you can get better deals, simplertrading.com/sale. All right, guys. Thanks again. I'll see you next week.